Morning, Chrissy.
Well, good morning, Gary. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Happy Friday.
Amen. Yeah.
I know I got funky hair, but it sure does look funky on a camera, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no, you look great.
I am so glad to have time with you. And
Okay.
I'm especially excited about this because just so you know, I'm going to repurpose this for a couple of different reasons. And I know this is your recording. You don't have a problem sharing your recording with me, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I mean, some people, it's automatic. It comes on automatically.
Okay.
And I can turn it off too if you want. It's just, we, the reason we do that is, sometimes like little sound bites will come out when I do one-on-ones with the students, like they're saying something about a marketing campaign they're doing. They just got a listing. So we like to use those, um, capture them and use them in our marketing and also, sometimes there's good like it, coaching, teaching, training material that comes out of it, that
Absolutely.
we can use also. So we
Absolutely.
now I will tell you we generally don't keep them long anymore because we have, I mean, just our memory. But as long as I know, as soon as I'm done, I'll send you the link,
Send me
and
the
then
link. Yeah, I'll save it. I'll download it to my external drive because
yeah.
I will use it for my YouTube channel for the struggle is real estate. And
Mhm.
I'm going to put it inside of my training program that's Build an Agent where I interview experts. And then I'm sure I'll have some kind of a clip because just to remind you, I have a podcast. It's called Credit Coaching by Christy.
Mhm.
I've got about 125 episodes, but it's really for teaching people
Yeah.
about credit. And so I think what I'll wind up doing is we'll probably talk for 30 minutes and I'll use that whole thing for the YouTube and for my training, but I'm sure that there's going to be a piece in there about how you, knowing that you had to utilize credit in order to get to where you were at for financing, how it's
Mhm.
a building block, a stepping stone, how important it is. And, I know you're not out showing properties and selling like a regular agent, but a lot of people desire to buy a home and a lot of realtors listen to this to learn. So I think they'll learn a lot from you, even just with us cutting out. So just so you know, if we get on to the topic of credit, stay there for a few minutes, get me at least 5 minutes worth of dialogue from you.
Okay.
My dog is losing his mind. Let me go position them and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No, no. Fine. Thank you. No, no. All right. And now the garbage truck is going by, and guess what I forgot to put out this morning?
Yep. That's one thing we don't
It
have to worry
goes.
about in the country. There are no garbage trucks, so we have to once a week or so we have to drive to a county dump. We call it the dump. It's basically a
Yeah.
garbage collection site and recycling and all that. But yep. So well, I'm looking forward to this too. I apologize. Actually, I do have a 11 every half hour. I have appointments coming up. So,
Okay.
um, we should still be good though for, 20 minutes of material. And if we need more, I just let me know. I don't mind at all helping out. So
You got it. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off. And do you want me to say where you are at? How would you like me to introduce you?
yeah, you just tell them, I'm a team leader for the Global Investor Agent team, and I'm actually in Virginia right now. But I spend my time between Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Florida mostly. So Florida is my home state. I'm just haven't been there for well over a year now. So crazy. Yeah.
And it's
So
I want to make sure that I tell them about your YouTube channel. It's um Massive Passive for Real Estate.
No, the YouTube channel is actually uh actually they may have just changed that. Hang on one second.
Okay.
It was Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Just give him that Real Estate with Gary Wilson because I think they're trying to change it to Global Investor Agent Team, but honestly, I'm not sure if they got to that or not, you know.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
yeah.
here we go.
Okay.
It is my absolute honor to be able to get to share a few minutes with the Gary Wilson. So thank you so much for being here with me today, Gary. We've had a couple of opportunities to connect here. And Gary is the lead for Global Investor Agent, a massive team inside of EXP Real Estate. I'm sure everybody knows that name. And you are between Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Florida when you're bouncing around these days, are you, Gary?
Yeah, currently in Virginia, and I'm working outside right now. My view is the Shenandoah National Park. So I love it here. I love working outside and the best of everything, you know.
Lucky man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, in trying to do a worthy introduction here for you, not only are you a team lead, not only are you a well-versed and very experienced investor, a traveling man, you also make time to pour into others and bring in experts on your YouTube channel, Real Estate with Gary Wilson. How long ago did you start that? What inspired you?
Oh my gosh. The very first video I did was probably 15 years ago, and it was me walking through like a 9 unit building, and it was horrible. I mean, the quality was just, I mean, I'm like, there, I looked at it later, it's looking at my nose and my ear, and I had the camera backwards when I'm into the property. But you know what? I did it all for my truck. I went out to my truck, loaded it up to YouTube, and actually sold that property because of that video. And so my teacher was correct. He said you just got to get past the it's got to be perfect face and just do it. That's what he said. He used some other language, but he said basically just freaking do it. So
Progress,
and I
not
did it.
perfection.
Yeah. And now here it is, 15 years later, and we got multiple playlists, and it's all about coming from contribution and giving. And the saying that I live by is Zig Ziglar's famous saying, if you just help enough other people get what they want, you'll be able to get plenty of what you want. Now, when in my 30s, I didn't really fully grasp the meaning of that. I'm thinking, well, that doesn't even make mathematical sense. How can you get rich by giving everything away? That was my mindset then. But as you age and gain experience, you realize, you know, when you serve others, there's an exchange of value there. Sometimes you get paid right away, sometimes you don't get paid at all. But the reality is you develop a reputation as a giver, and that's where the living is. That's great. I love this saying. I came up with it on my own, but I've heard it now a million times. Is that the living is in the giving, and as older you get, the more true that becomes,
Love that. Thank you. It's a beautiful introduction to the man, the myth, the legend of who you are. Tell us how you got into investing, what you love most about it. Talk all things real estate.
Oh yeah. Well, I've always been kind of enamored with real estate. When I was a child in grade school, I was drawing houses. My best friend, Kevin McKinney, his dad was an architect, and they had this beautiful, amazing contemporary, all glass, all sides, cantilevered from a hill. You had to walk across this like walkway, and the house was cantilevered out overlooking a lake. And I'm thinking, this is what I want, because we were living in a little apartment at the time. We were I was on a school lunch program or Goodwill clothes, the whole 9 yards. In any case, my grandfather showed me how to actually draw the house plans using architectural, uh, you know, methodology. I learned everything about drawing houses. I still do it today for fun. I've got thousands of them. But my really big lucky break was in college. My college freshman year roommate was a guy named Socrates. His parents were both 100% Greek. His dad was a Greek immigrant, and he was an investor. And it's an awesome story. It's too long for the podcast, but I just want to tell people when we graduated, we were going to go rent just like most people. And his dad said, "No, you're not. You're going to buy, and I'm going to help you do it." And he helped us get a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom ranch in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He never gave us a dime. He never gave us the fish. He taught us how to fish. So my very first deal was January of 1986. And the rest they say is history. That we now they call it house hacking. We rented out the other 2 rooms. Back then, we didn't call it house hacking. We called it making as much money as we could to help pay all the bills. You know, that's how I got started, that was the beginning, and I just kept going, kept plugging away, wake up every day, hit the ground running, keep swinging the bat, take your singles, take your doubles. Every now and then you're going to get a home run, and if you stick it out long enough, every now and then you get a grand slam home run. And those are the things that have happened to me. I've had lots of good luck, lots of bad luck, but the good stuff has far outweighed the bad stuff.
Those are good odds. So
Yeah,
would you share a story with us, either your most favorite win of all, or
yeah,
maybe the biggest disaster, but potentially, what you learned out of that failure that helped make another win?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you two wins. The first deal I ever did for myself, my own investment, and the last investment I made for myself. The first one was with Socrates. So we assumed the owner's first mortgage. He was in the Navy, so he had a VA mortgage. We were able to assume it. You can still assume these mortgages today. In fact, you can assume VA, FHA, and USDA, 100%. You have to qualify for them now, which is different than the old days where you didn't have to qualify. But in any case, we assumed his first mortgage. He had a second that we refinanced with our own second that Socrates' dad signed for, and then we gave the owner a third note for the remaining equity. So that was the first deal. So we had three mortgages, and after the two tenants' rent came in, Sock and I had an outlay of about $50 a month. That was it. Um, any case, that house, by the way, now we bought it for 63,000. My last car cost more than my first house, but that house now is worth almost $700,000. But in any case, fast forward, the last one I did was a 90-unit building with my partner Vince. He's an accountant. He's the best partner in the world. I have other partners. He's the best. So what we did was we got a traditional commercial mortgage from a bank called Enterprise Bank that actually was started and owned and run by other real estate investors. So it's fully, a full-blown bank, chartered and everything. But they let us buy the property with no money down. So what we did was the property, it had some deferred maintenance. It wasn't bad, but it was like we needed new boilers, six big boilers, and these are industrial size. I mean, we're talking $200,000, right? A new parking lot. We remodeled the interiors to showcase the parquet floors that were covered up with carpeting. So what they did is they gave us a mortgage that consisted of two parts. The first part was to pay off the old owner, about $1 million. The second part is like it was a construction loan that we drew against. And every time we completed the boiler installation, they would pay that off. And then we did the parking lot and they would pay that off. And there was a good chunk of money left over, and we wanted it. So Vince and I said we'd like to take that money too. And because the deed was recorded for the full amount, they ended up not giving it to us, and they re-recorded the deed. And then I went to talk to the president of the bank, and I said, look, clearly the equity's there. Clearly we know what we're doing. We both have hundreds of properties, but the market was changing at the time. We were just getting into the recession, and the money got extremely tight. And that's why they pulled back. They said, we're not going to give you this other 40 grand because, we're basically hedging our bets and reducing downside risk. Banks are all about risk reduction. How can they mitigate risk? They're risk averse. So, in any case, but that's how we structure that. It was very creative. We were making $15,000 a month cash flow on that property right out of the gate, and we essentially doubled the rents over the next 8 years. So that was my swan song. That was a great way. Now I get involved now, but I don't get involved directly like I used to, because I don't just don't want to work that hard. I mean, I love my team. I spend all my time on my team. I don't have any debt. I don't want to go out there and add more stress to my life right now. So
I
so
love
that
that.
last one was a great way we call it the swan song property.
That's a
So
great story. So I'm thinking
yeah,
about somebody who's thinking about getting into investing in real estate. Like a lot of
yeah,
realtors will start their career and they'll make some
mhm,
money, but the minute you stop earning, right, or stop working, you stop earning. So for passive, massive
yeah,
passive income, which is what you teach through your YouTube and podcast, um, obviously, get into action, but what would be a tip or two that with your hundreds of
yeah,
transactions personally through investments, what would you say is like one or two really important tips for somebody who's just starting off
yeah.
to be aware of?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, one of the best things I ever did for myself was I got my real estate license not to be a regular realtor. I had no interest at all in helping people buy and sell their own homes they're going to live in. In fact, people would come to me and ask. My wife would bring people to me, and I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I thought she was going to kill me, but well, what I realize is I can leverage my license to help other investors because that's what I was interested in. So everybody listening, I just want to tell you this. If you're an agent, or let's say you're an investor and you're struggling getting started, just get your license. It's easy. I mean, you take what, 60 hours of class or something like that to take an exam. It's the easiest thing you can get into to make money. But make sure you're with a company that's investor friendly or on a team like my team. It's called the Global Investor Agent Team. Clearly, we serve investors. And here's why, Christy. What it does is it immerses you in the business of investing by working with other investors. Just like Zig Ziglar said, help other investors make money in real estate, and you'll make money too that you can use to invest in real estate. So not only those that immerse you in the business of investing, so you learn. Any of us can read a book and take a training program. I've got tons of that stuff. And I've written 8 books, created 6 training programs. But I'm here to tell you, when I coach people, I get them out in the field, swinging the bat with their clients, because I know they're going to learn way more from that than they ever will from Gary Wilson. So, in any case, immerse yourself in the business, and you'll learn investors are naturally entrepreneurs and they're creative. So, one of the things you can do is take some of your commissions and say, look, I see you buying this fourplex. I'm glad to help you buy it. Would you let me contribute my commission to be part owner, to have an equity portion of that property or some cash flow, or I'll manage it for you for a fee. And then you get some regular monthly recurring income in addition to your commission. And just, this is where the discipline comes in. I know there's all kinds of ways to buy properties. I've done 30 different ways to buy properties at a minimum. I've written a book on that. All those creative purchasing techniques, no money down, low down, owner financing, it costs you more. I know you're going to have every guru on the planet telling you, don't use your own money, use other people's money. When you do that, you usually end up with very little equity. And when crisis occurs, you're going to lose your properties. I've seen so many people go broke and bankrupt in the last recession because they had no equity. They were in debt up to their eyeballs.
Right.
So here's what I learned. I'm going to go to a traditional bank, get the lowest interest rate loan possible, way lower than hard money. Okay. And I'm going to go in there with 20% because I know I'll get the best rate and the best terms, and I'm more likely to get a yes. So not only do you have steady commissions coming in from repeat business from investors, bankers love that, you're going to get the best rates and terms. Buy that first property, fix it up, raise the rents, bankroll all your cash flow till you save up enough for the next down payment. I only did that, guys, for like a year. And then what I did, I had 10 properties and I had a more equity because I increased the value of the properties. Plus, I increased the rents, which further increased the value of the properties. And I found a commercial lender who was also a private commercial lender who gave me a second mortgage across the entire portfolio. There
Wow.
was enough to go out there and start paying full cash for properties. Then I would still remodel, raise the rents, and then I would refinance and pay back that line of credit. And that was really how I got it done. So it takes discipline, takes patience, and you got to have some hustle. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the world. In fact, I'm definitely not the smartest person in the world, average at best. But you have to have discipline, got to have patience, and you got to have hustle. You can do these things. If you do all that no money down stuff, you'll find yourself still working 20 years from now. I can guarantee it. You do it the way I just described it, you're going to be financially free in probably 5 years. Sometimes I've had one person do it in 18 months. It's just a
Wow.
matter of how much hustle you have. So that's my big tip for the day.
Love
So,
that. My next question is, do you feel like you're going to see, or we're going to see some opportunities in the commercial realm?
oh, absolutely. It's a mathematical certainty. So I was in banking for 18 years. Now, commercial loans, most of them have a repricing every 5 years, which means they're going to adjust the rate. Well, if you think about all those commercial mortgages were taken out prior to 2023 for those prior couple of years, they had really low rates, 3 and 4%. Now those rates are doubled, 7%. When they reset, all that debt, all the monthly payments are going to go up dramatically. Now, couple that with the fact that during the pandemic, a lot of commercial properties went vacant, and a lot of them still are vacant because business owners like me realize, hey, I don't have to pay for all this space. People can work from home. And that's exactly what I have almost zero overhead in my business anymore. So I took full advantage of that, and I'm not the only one. So guys, be prepared because it's coming, and it's going to start coming this year, more next year and the year after. But I think we've got a couple years, and then you're going to see us probably slide into a recession. I think again, don't say Gary Wilson said this because things could change tomorrow. We just don't know. But based on what I know, my years of experience in 5 market cycles, when you have the M1 and M2, values the way they are, and the liquidity problem we have with massive inflation, you're going to have a recession. It's a mathematical certainty. We just can't tell you when. I think we're going to squeeze another 2 years out of what we got right now, and then we're going to have to pay the piper. It's not going to be bad. It's just part of the business cycle, just like life. Once you accept that fact, you'll learn the strategies. You'll know how to operate in any market cycle, whether it's up or down.
Love that. Do you think that this is going to be an opportunity to get creative with like maybe repurposing some properties if
Oh yeah,
retail isn't so sought out, or if office space isn't so sought out because people are working from home, we could get creative about how to repurpose those spaces then.
absolutely. So one of the to me one of the most obvious solutions is take a lot of the office space that's sitting there empty now, and there gobs of it all over the place. I've seen them repurposed in the like office condo type things, or office hacking, where they're renting out spaces for a few $100 and sharing spaces. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of buildings that would be easily converted into residential, and the municipality is going to be a lot more agreeable to that when they see all the space sitting empty and no taxes are being paid. They need tax money, right? So they're going to be agreeable to rezoning some of these properties. It's already happening, but that's the most obvious solution. I've seen all kinds of creative things going on with malls, and turning malls into like animal rescue centers. And I even saw one that was being used for senior housing, because think about it, seniors often go to malls to take their walks in the wintertime. Well, now they can just live in a mall,
That's right. That's
So
right. That's
yeah,
awesome.
so there's a
Food
couple
court in the
examples
middle
there.
for them. Yeah, plenty of parking. I love it. Well,
Yep.
I know your time is very structured. So in our last couple of minutes together,
Yep.
what might be some other ideas, thoughts, insight from Gary Wilson that you'd like to impose on, newer investors, newer
Yeah.
realtors, anybody thinking about making some long-term money with real estate?
Yep. We'll give you two things. The first is when it comes to rentals, um, everybody's seeing, if you haven't seen it, just start to pay more attention. The legislation and the regulation related to traditional rentals, like you got a fourplex you're renting out, and there are 2 bedroom units you're renting out to regular people for a year-long lease. Those are becoming tougher and tougher to own, manage, and profit from because of the increased legislation and regulation that's being more pro-tenant and less pro-owner. Okay. So the answer is I like midterm rentals. We used to call this corporate housing. So it's not short term. Short term, like Airbnb, is getting pushback for the municipalities, right? So midterm rentals are greater than a month and less than a year. Business travelers, traveling nurses, they come by themselves. They go back home on the weekends. They're not bringing their kids and dogs. So there's less wear and tear on the units, and you generally get more than twice the double the prevailing rates on your rental. So that's on the investing side. On the agent side, I know a lot of agents who say, "Oh, I hate those darn investors. They drive me crazy. They have all these crazy ideas and blah 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 blah." All it is a lack of information and a lack of communication. Investors don't like all those agents, and those agents don't like those investors. But if the agents would simply get educated, I mean, I've got 6 trainer programs just to teach agents how to work with investors, how to walk the walk, how to talk the talk, learn the terminology, the methodology. Then those investors will love you and they'll be faithful. See, this is the biggest problem with investors agents have is the investors aren't loyal. Well, it's because the agent doesn't know what the heck they're doing. Learn the skills, be invaluable to them, and they will come back to you again, again, and again, and again. And then you'll have yourself a business, and you can forget all the negativity you've heard out there. You don't have to participate in that. I suggest you participate in success, and you're in control of that. Success is an inside job, and it all starts with education.
That was beautiful and so needed. I hear
Yeah.
so many people freaking out right now with all of the changes in the real estate world, and our
Mhm.
mindset and our perspective is the difference maker. Gary, thank you so much. This has been an incredible time with you. I'm going to make sure that in this video that there's some information as far as how they can follow you on YouTube and connect with you should they have some questions, or who knows, maybe join your team.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
we're an open book. They can come to Monday Night Live class. It's open to the public. We don't charge anything. We don't sell anything. We don't recruit anybody. Come on and check it out, meet people, and be part of the community. That's the best thing, smartest thing people can do for themselves. You know.
That
Yeah.
is the truth. And thank you so much for having that be open to everybody, not
Mhm.
being exclusive. It really shows your heart and not only compassion for other people that are getting started, but you are living what your mentor had taught to you, and you're
Mhm.
instilling that in other people by getting into action, not just talking about it. So thanks for being the change.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here with me today. It's just been an honor.
You're welcome, Christy. It's been a pleasure, and I just want to tell everybody, just be patient, but be persistent at the same time. And also I want to wish you and bless you, God bless you and your loved ones. Um, just everything's going to be okay. It always works out. Just relax and get
That
busy.
is Just
Yeah,
relax. It's so good. Great
yeah,
parting words. Thank
yeah.
you, Gary Wilson, for being here with me today. And it's just been an honor. I know that you bless some people with your words. So thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Awesome. All right. We'll end that recording there. When you send it to me, I'll edit out our beginning talk and this end. But
Yeah.
thank you. This was so good. You were just
Oh, thanks.
so comfortable because you do it, but
Yeah.
just the way that you think off the cuff and like truly you speak from your heart, you've been a blessing in just the few times that we've been together, Gary. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. Well, I
We don't
appreciate it. I
always
mean, you're
get
a
to hear
blessing
it,
too. Yeah.
So yeah, you're an
Yeah.
awesome guy. And I'm so glad that Gina's introduced
Yeah.
us. You've got a few minutes now before your next conversation, so maybe a potty break and fill up your ice water, but enjoy looking at
Yeah.
those Shenandoah mountains. It's awesome.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Christy.
Thank
And
you.
hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I sure will. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye
See you
bye.
later.